high achievers like myself, we pride ourselves on powering through anything. What's the real cost if they keep pushing through?
You're relying on these caffeinated beverages or these sugary foods to push through. But what you're doing is you're just adding more stress onto your system. Weight is a symptom. It's not the problem. Food is impacting every aspect of your life, whether you acknowledge it or not. The way you respond to people, your energy, your sleep, your mood, it can all be better.
And the toughest one, family. So let's say it's my grandparents or my mother-in-law piling food on my plate. And then they say, oh, you're too skinny. It's rude to not finish the food on your plate. How do you say no without disrespecting them? Before we dive into this episode, I'll be really grateful if you could like and subscribe if you're on YouTube or rate if you're on Spotify. I hope you enjoy this episode. Hi, and welcome to this episode of The Real Reason. I'm really excited that you're tuning in because this episode is with my nutritionist, Riyana. So 1 year ago, I had a major breakthrough. For many, many years, I'm talking about 8 years, I used to snack all the time and I put on a ton of weight. So I would snack at 10 a.m., I would snack at 3 p.m., 4 p.m. And the worst thing is I would snack again at 10 p.m., 11 p.m. or even 12 midnight. I was so disgusted with myself. My husband also was disgusted with me because he would see me going to bed and I would tell myself, okay, tonight is the night. I will not snack. But then I cannot sleep. And then I'll go to the fridge, grab a snack, and then I'll fall asleep. And that went on for 8 years. Until last year, I went on Riyana's Clean in 15 challenge. She's not paying me to say this, but I will say that it was life transforming. And I can't wait for you to hear from her. Welcome, Riyana, to the podcast.
Thank you, Shulin. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, I'm so excited for everyone to hear from you. Can you tell the listeners a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah, sure. So I'm a holistic nutritionist. I wasn't always a holistic nutritionist. I actually spent most of my career in the corporate world, in finance, actually. And it wasn't till about 10 years ago that I decided to make this life-changing career shift. So across the span of my life, I have dealt with many issues, many that I know a lot of, probably even the listeners today are dealing with. So as a teenager, I was diagnosed with PCOS. In my later, teens and early 20s, I had chronic anxiety, multiple autoimmune conditions. And then for me, the icing on the cake was actually when my husband and I were trying to conceive and we couldn't. So infertility was also a part of my journey. And doctors were very helpful. They really helped me in terms of my symptoms and helped me feel better, but they weren't helping me understand why this was happening, why I was getting sick. And it wasn't until I really dove in and discovered the power of food and lifestyle choices that I didn't start to see real change. So I'm very much about balance, about eating good food that not only tastes good, but helps you feel good.
So, Riyana, a lot of people listening, they must think that they're doing it right. Salads, black coffee, an apple a day, but somehow something's just not working. What's the real reason these patterns backfire?
Part of it is what we've been trained or how we've been taught from our childhood, right? And it's this thought that less is more. So we go through the day eating as little as possible, and we're not meeting the demands of our body. So whether it's things like a stressful day at work, running around after your kids, an intense workout, right? You're not meeting your body's needs with those small little meals that you're having throughout the day. And then what happens is towards the end of the night, right? Your body's like, Shulin, this is not enough for me. Give me more. I need more. And at that point, you're so exhausted. You're so tired. That's when the cravings kind of come in. And I call it your sugar monster. That's when your sugar monster kind of wakes up and is like, feed me.
Oh.
And it's like, all bets are off. You open the fridge and you're looking for quick energy and things that are sugar rich, things that are refined carbohydrates, things that your body can easily turn into glucose or sugar is what you're going to crave because you're like, I just need something to make me feel better. Hence comes in the chocolate cake.
Interesting. Tell me more about the sugar monster.
Yeah.
So you mean there is something that lives within me that craves for that sugar if I don't feed myself the right food during the day?
Yeah, so it's actually twofold, okay? Sugar is a drug, right? It is addicting. And the more you have, the more you need in order to get that same reaction from your body. So today, it's a teaspoon of sugar that does it for you. But after a while, that teaspoon doesn't seem like it's enough, right? It's not giving you that buzz that you are craving. So it becomes 1.5 teaspoons, and it becomes 2 teaspoons. So it starts building up like this, okay? So from a physiological standpoint, it's how you're eating your sugar, when you're eating your sugar, what you're pairing it with. All of these make a big difference. So, one thing I tell a lot of clients is don't eat naked carbs, right? So that means don't eat your sugar alone because it's going to enter your bloodstream a lot faster. It's going to give you this blood sugar spike. It's going to give you this blood sugar crash. And then you're going to want more sugar. But if you eat it with healthy fats, if you eat it with protein, if you eat it with good fiber, that all kind of coats your system and doesn't allow the sugar to seep into your bloodstream as quickly. So instead of getting this spike and this crash, you get a nice, even kind of glucose release in your bloodstream.
Okay.
So that's one part of it. The second part of it is also related to your gut microbiome. Okay. And for many of us, there's an imbalance between our bad bacteria and our good bacteria. And if we're someone who has too much of the bad bacteria, you'll tend to find also that you crave sugar. So good bacteria feeds off of fibrous foods, but that bad bacteria craves and feeds off of and grows with sugar. So that's another thing that can lead us to actually having these sugar cravings.
I have so many questions. Okay, first I'll start with sugar. Because a lot of people think sugar is just white sugar. And then maybe if I take brown sugar, it's healthier, like white bread versus brown bread. Is that true?
I get this question a lot. Oh, but Riyana, it didn't have sugar. It had maple syrup. Or Riyana, it didn't have sugar. It had honey.
Or coconut nectar.
Or coconut nectar. Or coconut sugar.
Or monk fruit.
Yes. So monk fruit is a little different. But there's so many names for sugar. And I always need to remind people, like, sugar is sugar is sugar. And I usually hand out like this sheet that's, very fine print, and it shows you the thousands of names that we've come up with for sugar. And a lot of times you'll find manufacturers, CPG company, like they're hiding sugar within brown rice syrup, like coconut nectar. There's just so many different names it can go by.
How about artificial sweeteners? Are they under the same category?
So there are
Stevia. Stevia.
0 calorie sugars. So there's stevia, monk fruit, erythritol. Those are ones that are more naturally derived. But then you have ones that are like aspartame, like your Splendas. Those are chemically derived. Those tend to be a little bit more disruptive, especially on your gut health. In terms of the natural 0 calorie sweeteners, they can actually work very well in a person's diet. But you have to remember, eating and the way foods impact us, yes, it's physical, but it's also psychological. So sometimes, even though something has 0 sugar in it, technically, the signaling it's sending your brain, like, oh, something sweet is coming, right? Number one, it can definitely still give you a lot more cravings. And then number two, it can still release glucose into your bloodstream. Just because it's 0 sugar or 0 calorie doesn't mean you can eat it to no extent.
Yes, so I want to share a story where I always thought that if I'm tired, I should either have a coffee or I eat more because it means that I just need that energy boost, right? So I went to Great World City. I had ice cream with my son at Kind Cones. And because it's clean, right? It's healthy. So I thought, yeah, no problem. But when I was driving home, I felt so sleepy. I was nodding off at the wheel, which was very dangerous. And I asked myself, what is happening? It's just some ice cream. What's the big deal? So when I went back and I texted you and you solved the mystery for me, can you share with the listeners what you shared with me?
Yeah. So basically you were on a blood sugar roller coaster, which many of us are. So you didn't have anything else in your system. It was probably the evening and you had this sweet treat, even though, yes, it is healthy, made with natural sugars and it's dairy free, but it gave you a blood sugar spike. And what happens now, we know when we have a blood sugar spike, we end up getting a blood sugar crash. And because you had nothing to buffer that sugar entering your bloodstream, you ended up feeling good for a little bit. But then as you were coming home, you got your crash. And that's when your energy you felt it, right? You felt tired. You felt, sleepy. You felt like, oh, I need probably something else to lift me up again. So yeah, spikes and crashes.
Would it have helped if I had a coffee with the ice cream?
No. It would have made it worse.
Really?
Because caffeine also, right, helps your body release glucose into your bloodstream. That's why also we kind of feel, energized with, yes, the caffeine does something as well in terms of our adrenaline, our cortisol, our stress response, or, those hormones that we produce to give us energy. But it also, one of the things that it does is it pushes glucose into our bloodstream.
Wow.
So that's a big mistake. People will have coffee and then they'll have sugary foods with it. And then on top of that, it's like you're getting like a double whammy, if you will. Now, what would have helped, right? And to be fair, Kind Cones is probably better than most traditional ice creams, right? They're usually nut-based, so they have some healthy fats. So that's why it comes back to that whole theory of not having naked carbs or sequencing your sugar intake, right? So if you had that ice cream after a balanced meal, right? Protein, maybe some fiber through a salad. And then you're like, okay, I'm going to indulge in a little dessert. Your body probably would have responded a bit differently. You wouldn't have had that crash.
So the mistake I made was eating the ice cream on its own as a snack.
Yes.
Thinking it would perk me up.
Yes.
But it didn't.
Exactly. Or it did, but for a very short period of time.
Yes. I felt good for the moment.
Yes.
But after that, I had to lie down. I literally went home to lie down.
Yeah.
So I was quite shocked.
Yeah. I mean, and you also have to think about what else was happening in that day. How stressed you were, what was going on. Were you already kind of fatigued? And then this ice cream just gave you that quick lift, but then it's, very shortly after just fell.
Okay.
But yeah, so the order in which you eat, how you pair your foods, it all makes a big difference.
High achievers like myself, we pride ourselves on powering through anything. What's the real cost if they keep pushing through?
You're pushing through and you're relying on these caffeinated beverages or these sugary foods to push through, okay? But what you're doing is you're just adding more stress onto your system. And a lot of times, right, we think of stress as mental stressors. A lot happening at work, financial stress, relationships maybe, having a big meeting and you're thinking about planning for it, or, having a meeting that happened in the past and you just are constantly, thinking about how it went. So ruminating on things. These are the things that most of us perceive as stressors. But the thing that we miss or that we don't give enough credit to is the physical and physiological stressors that we're putting on our bodies. So while we're dealing with all of these mental stressors, we also end up putting all of these physical and physiological stressors on our body as well. Wow. So we're not fueling our bodies correctly with nutrient-dense foods, proteins, healthy fats, vitamin and mineral-rich foods. Instead, we're choosing these foods that are giving us short-term energy boosts, but leave us void of everything else. So you're ending up stressing your body more. And what happens is when we're kind of living this life of mental stress, physiological stress, and hammering at both ends, we come to a point of burnout, right? We've all heard that.
Oh, yes.
That term, burnout or some, wellness professionals will call it adrenal fatigue, where your body is like, I just can't do it anymore. So the sooner we realize, right, the foods that we eat, the choices that we make in terms of our diet make a huge difference and can prevent us actually getting to that point of burnout and can actually help our mind and body deal with the mental stressors better. You are what you eat. Your mind is what you eat as well. So your mood is affected by your food choices, your focus, your concentration, how well your body can adapt and deal with stress in your life, right? So from a mental standpoint, food plays a huge role.
Yes.
And then, of course, we know from a physical standpoint, how much energy you have, how good is your sleep, how do you perform physically? How do you look? Your skin, your eyes, right? How clear are they? And it's your overall happiness. When you change your diet and you figure out those pieces, you're like, wow, I thought I was good and I thought I was happy, but I've got a, extra, kick in my step and, I feel so much better.
Yes. And I can attest to this because when I started your Clean in 15 program exactly a year ago, September last year, 2024, I was terrified at first because I thought, well, I already eat clean, right? I can do this. But when I realized, oh dear, first 3 days, no meat. I was like, no meat, no seafood. But I did it.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm on it right now on day 5. This is my second time doing it. And then after that, there's no processed foods, a lot of home-cooked meals, and no alcohol, right? We'll touch on alcohol a bit later.
Yeah.
But I can attest that throughout the program, I never had better sleep.
Yeah.
Number 1. And number 2, I was so much less irritated with my husband.
Yeah. Oh my God. The amount of people who tell me, my husband is so grateful I did the Clean in 15. My children, thank you.
Yes.
Because I'm not moody and snapping at them all the time.
Yes. Yeah. And my stomach is so much flatter. Like, can I stand up to show? Yeah, my stomach is so much flatter.
Yeah.
Like, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see my stomach is so much flatter. And it's not just a pure vanity thing.
No.
In fact, I think if you're looking to lose weight quickly, then there are many other ways you can do it, but it will not be sustainable. And I will say this, right? I've tried keto. I've tried low carbs. I've tried everything vegan, 100% vegan. And I remember when I went on keto, my face broke out because I was eating too much avocado.
Yeah.
Avocado is really yummy. Okay, Riyana, I just want a second to sort of acknowledge someone who's listening to this and maybe they feel that they want to start eating clean. What's the first thing they can do?
So first and foremost, and this is a big mistake I think a lot of people make, is they try to change everything at one go. And when things don't change for them, or if things feel hard, then they just stop. So it's kind of an all or nothing kind of a situation. But we have to remember, start small. Start with one little shift. Make it a habit. Make it a part of your routine. Be patient with your body, right? Like a lot of us, it took us a long time to get to this stage where we're like, I'm fed up and I just want to do something. But we all of a sudden change one lever and we're like, why isn't it working? Why don't I look better? Why am I still bloated? You have to give your body a chance. You have to give it time. So yeah, I'd first and foremost say, don't try to do everything. Start with one change. I'd probably say, the easiest one for many people, if we're talking about people who are high performers, I'd probably say, check out your caffeine intake, right? And just slowly reduce that. That's like a great, simple starting point. Replace maybe your third, fourth, fifth cup of coffee with an herbal tea, a little bit of a milder black tea, green tea type of a situation, and get that under your belt, right? Bring it to a point where you're having 1, maybe 2 cups of coffee, ideally before 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so that it's not messing with your sleep later. Once you feel comfortable, once you feel good with that, then we can bring on a next step.
Yes.
But yeah, starting small, starting really small.
And I want to ask about alcohol. Yes. So there's caffeine and there's alcohol. And on your Clean in 15 program, alcohol is prohibited, right?
Yeah.
And that's a big deal for many people who go out and entertain. I would say this, I used to be a very heavy drinker in my youth. You know, if my kids are listening to this, you know, alcohol is bad for you in excess. But yeah, I used to drink a lot, you know, because in social events, I just like, especially if the person is not particularly very interesting, I need more alcohol to keep me going.
Yeah.
But I will say this, after your program, I hardly crave for alcohol. And I guess it's got to do with your gut, right? Because the less you, in fact, I have chocolate cake very occasionally now. I used to have it almost every week or every other day.
Yeah.
But because I eat less or I consume less, I crave for it less.
Yes.
Yes. But yes, let's talk about alcohol.
Okay, so we'll touch on alcohol. So
Yes.
why do I exclude it during the Clean in 15? Yes, because it's inflammatory. Alcohol is actually, so, you know, coffee is a stimulant. Alcohol is a depressant, actually. And same thing with your blood sugar. We talk about alcohol a lot from, oh, it's got a lot of sugar. Yes, darker liquors have sugar and mixers, of course, have a lot of sugar, but alcohol actually puts you for many of us, into a hypoglycemic state. It actually brings down your blood sugar, but it brings it down so low that your body gets triggered.
So it makes you hungry, right?
So number one, it makes you hungry, but number two, it ends up pumping out glucose into your bloodstream. And for the most part, you end up overshooting, or your body ends up overshooting, and you've got a bit too much sugar now in your blood. And it's like this vicious cycle. So a lot of times people will find, right, if they've had a big night out, if they've had a couple of drinks, yeah, it messes with your sleep. You don't sleep so well. You tend to wake up in the middle of the night. And generally, it's before 2 o'clock in the morning. Let's say you went to bed at midnight. Anywhere between midnight and 3 o'clock in the morning, you're waking up. It's because of blood sugar.
Oh, wow.
And alcohol, because it puts you in that hypoglycemic state, and then your body compensates, but ends up overcompensating. You get a glucose hit, and then you wake up. And you think maybe it's like, oh, I have to go to the bathroom, or no. No, it's your blood sugar. Yeah, so from a blood sugar standpoint, right, that's one of the reasons why we take out the alcohol, but also because, to your point, hunger and cravings. Who's gone out for a big night and come home and been like, oh, that broccoli sounds great, I'm going to dive into the broccoli. No, it gives you cravings.
Yes.
And it lowers your inhibitions.
You want to go for fried chicken.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it lowers your inhibitions in regards to, yes, how you are socially, but also in regards to your decision making.
Yes.
Right? You're not making the smartest decisions after a couple of glasses of whatever drink of choice.
So why is our relationship with food and drinks so messed up? I do not know anyone who says, I want to be unhealthy. I want to look bad in my clothes, or I want to have bad skin or bad sleep, right? But yet, so many of us make that decision to eat that something from Starbucks, order that, sugary drink, the ice blended frappuccino from Starbucks. I used to be like that. Or reach for something quick because I don't have time. But why do we do that to ourselves?
I honestly don't even think it's mental. I think it's physical, right? Because we're not eating the right foods, because we've never been taught how to eat the right foods, we've never been educated, or maybe we've been educated wrong. And so we just keep consuming these foods that are not giving our bodies what it needs. And so like I always say, even if you think about snacks, right? Think about a bag of potato chips. We can all plow through a bag of potato chips, myself included. Right?
I love what you call it. You call it food with no breaks.
Yep.
Right.
Food without breaks. Exactly. It's like you go in thinking, I'm just going to have a handful or just a few. And again, before you know it, mindlessly, the bag is gone. How did I do that?
And then the guilt and the shame.
Yeah. So we need to definitely separate the guilt and the shame, especially if we are on a health journey and we are working on eating good foods and we are giving ourselves that permission to eat those indulgent meals on occasion, which we should be doing. But yeah, it's going for these foods that have no nutritional value, are not giving us what we want, how we're eating it in regards to being mindless, right? so many of us don't even pay attention when we're eating. So we don't even realize, am I hungry? Am I full?
So like you're saying like when you're working and eating, or you're scrolling, or you're watching something on Netflix.
All of the above.
So you don't do any of these when you're eating?
On occasion. So I am all about life and balance. I am about keeping it real. I try my hardest. My phone is kept far away from me when I am working. I always close my laptop when I am, when I'm eating, simply because I know if my stress response is on, if I'm like trying to get that email out or trying to respond to that message or trying to draft that newsletter or whatever it might be, my brain is not registering that I am eating food. And if my brain is not registering that I am eating food, my stomach is not doing what it needs to do in order to digest that food. So 2 things on digestion and being preoccupied. Digestion is a north to south process. It starts in your brain. And if we practice, mindful eating, if you think about it even, let's say you enter a restaurant or, food is being prepared in the kitchen and all of a sudden you get a whiff of it, right? What happens? You start to salivate. And saliva is the first part of, chemical breakdown or chemical digestion. But it starts here. It doesn't start in your mouth. It doesn't start in your stomach. It starts in your brain.
I didn't know that.
So if you're preoccupied with whatever it is you're doing
Like
on your laptop
reading
or your phone,
a comic book while eating, which my kids like to do.
Yeah. So same with mine. My kids are older. I'm always like, can you put the book away? The sooner you finish, the sooner you can get back to your, your comic book or your story or whatever you're reading.
But I really love what you said to me, because I was always feeling hungry, and it's because I'm rushing through my food.
Yes.
Or I'm multitasking, right? Yes. And that was a big aha moment for me actually this year when you said, Shulin, your body is not even recognizing that you are satisfied.
Yes.
And therefore, after eating lunch, 2 hours later, I'm hungry again.
Yeah.
Actually, my body doesn't need that much food.
Yeah. So it's twofold for that. That could also be blood sugar, but many of us, right, are rushing through our meals. We're not acknowledging that we're even eating. So, we have leptin and ghrelin. That's our hunger and full hormones, right? They're not even turning on or off. We're just kind of going through it. And how many times has it been where, you're eating a meal and you're working, you don't even remember finishing your meal, right? And a lot of times this happens to a lot of us when we're eating sweet things or like treats even, right?
And it's gone.
It's gone.
Yes.
And you're like, oh, it's gone. Let me have another one. And you're not even paying attention to how good it tastes and how, sweet it is or how nutty it is or the flavors that are coming out. So especially when you're eating these treats or these, meals that you love or resonate with you for whatever reason. Maybe there's something you loved as a child. Maybe it's, you're a chocolate fan. Take a moment to acknowledge it and really enjoy it and pay attention, right? You're going to enjoy it more. You're going to register it more. You're going to produce those happy hormones and whatnot from actually consuming it more, as opposed to not even realizing what went in or how it went in and just going for another one.
Okay, so now we want to go a little bit into real life scenarios, because we all struggle when we eat with family, for instance, or colleagues at work, and we feel a bit pressured, so we're going to ask a few scenarios, and then, Riyana, maybe you can role play, how can we say no to food so that it doesn't feel like we're saying no to family or colleagues or being rude. Okay, so scenario 1. So you're my colleague after work and I'm pushing you to have another drink.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Riyana, just drink. It's okay. How often are we here? Happy hour. It's 1 for 1. What's a respectful way to hold your boundary without completely killing the vibe?
Yeah. I'd probably say something like, Shulin, you go ahead. I've got a super early start tomorrow. So I'm going to stay. I'm going to hang out. But I'm just going to have some sparkling water. That's it.
But that's so boring, Riyana. Sparkling water, you're no fun.
Yeah. I'm not stopping you. You can still have it, right? That's what matters. So you enjoy it. You can drink more. Maybe I'll become more fun.
Okay, good one, good one.
But another thing is, right, a lot of us think people actually care whether you're drinking or not.
Yes.
So a lot of times, and I'll do this, right? You may start with a vodka soda or like a tequila and soda, whatever it might be. And then like halfway through, you switch to a sparkling water. No one's even paying attention.
Yes.
So if you're the type of person who does not want to be confrontational, who does not want to have that awkward conversation, you can even be like, you're right. I'll be right back. I'm going to go get myself a drink. Come back with a sparkling water with the lime in it. Nobody knows the difference and nobody cares.
Yes.
Honestly.
That's so true. So I used to do that. I used to drink like tonic water and everyone thought that I was having gin and tonic. And they would all get so drunk and say all kinds of silly things. I was there all ears.
Yeah, there you go. See?
And no hangover the next day.
And no hangover the next day.
Yes. Okay, scenario 2. Now imagine we're out with friends.
Yeah.
And someone keeps insisting that you take the last piece of food, right? And then, okay, so I would say, don't waste, just eat it. You ate so little.
Yeah.
How would you respond?
I'd be like, you're right. It's so delicious. I want you to have it. You should really, because it's so good, you have it.
No, you have it.
And if they push it even more, I'd be like, okay, and negotiate, right?
Yes,
be a little
yes.
fair. Let's split it.
Oh, nice.
So even though maybe you do want it, maybe it was really delicious, but this whole act of splitting things all of a sudden takes a little bit of the pressure off, right?
Yes.
Let's split it. You know what?
Okay.
I want you to have it. You want me to have it. Let's just cut it down.
I love that.
Yeah.
Great response.
Yeah.
Okay, last scenario and the toughest one, family. So let's say it's my grandparents or my mother-in-law piling food on my plate. And because they cooked it, right? It's delicious.
Yeah.
And then they say, oh, you're too skinny. Oh, it's rude to not finish the food on your plate.
Yeah.
Right? So how do you say no without disrespecting them?
So first and foremost, don't put food on your plate that you don't want to eat. So take a little bit, and if you want more, then put more on your plate so you avoid that
But they're the
scenario.
ones putting the food on your plate. What do you do?
So then the next step would be, I would say, is say if they keep saying, take more, it's so good. You haven't even eaten much, or yeah, you're so skinny. Say, wow, I'm so full. It's so delicious though. Can I please take it home with me? Can I take some home with me so that I can enjoy it tomorrow or whenever? Because I don't want it to waste, and it is so delicious, but I just have no room in my stomach right now. So at least you kind of buffer it where you're like, you're not saying no to them. You're just saying not right now, which definitely eases the conversation. And I know because, right, for our elders, like food is love. That's how they show love. And you don't want to offend them. So just simply saying, I'm so full. It's so delicious. Please put it in a box so I can take it home with me because I want to have it tomorrow when I have more space in my stomach and I can really enjoy it.
Wow, love it.
Yeah.
And you make them feel good because you say the
Yes.
food is really delicious.
Yes. And that it's so good that you want to bring it
Yes,
home with you.
1 second.
Yeah.
But not right now.
Yeah.
There's a ramen shop in Japan where they blindfold you and you have earplugs and you're eating the ramen. And I think that's why, because they know all of us, we're so distracted.
Yes.
Yeah, and we're trying to be productive.
Yeah.
This is how I'm switched on.
Yeah.
So what advice do you have to a high performer listening to this?
Yeah.
And, they don't have time.
I know.
Right? They don't have time to do the food prep.
Yes.
They don't have, in fact, it's expensive to eat healthy. Actually, my response to someone who said that before is that I would rather pay to have a healthy meal than to use that money for medical fees.
Yes, that's first off, and we have to get off of also this thought process of I'm eating healthy. Okay, it can be I'm eating healthier. So it's not about perfect. There's no perfect meal or perfect, diet for one person. But if you're making the healthier choice, or you're making that tweak that's making it a little bit better for maybe your digestion, your blood sugar, it's going to positively impact you. So even like I would say, even if you're going to a hawker center, right?
I was going to ask, because there's a healthier choice sticker, does that actually mean healthier?
No, not really. But you can make healthier choices at a food court, at a hawker center.
What would you choose? What do you eat? What does Rihanna eat?
So
in
I
a food court?
love going to the food court. I usually go I love chicken and rice, but I will eat half of the chicken. I will always make sure to get the veg on the side, whether it's bok choy, kailan, whatnot. And I will always double the chicken.
Double the chicken and half the amount of rice.
Yes.
Ah.
Right there. More protein.
Wow.
You're getting your greens, so you're getting your fiber in. You're still getting that lovely, delicious rice.
Yes.
But you're not eating as much of it. So you always want, right, that starch to be the smallest portion of your meal.
Okay.
And there you have it. So a little tweak, not crazy expensive,
Yes.
and it's better.
And can you have the skin on the chicken?
Yeah, definitely. Again, those are healthy fats.
And how about the chili and the dark soya sauce?
Yeah, it's okay.
Yes.
How much of it are you really using? And again, right? Like if we keep putting too many restrictions on ourselves, we give up. We stop.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So you have to look at things from a wide lens. If you're already making those tweaks where you're getting rid of half of the starchy carbs that are going to turn into sugar very quickly, you're doubling your protein, you're adding in the fiber. Oh, chili sauce is fine.
Wow.
I mean, I produce chili sauces.
Yes, and we'll talk about that later. So we live in the world of hacks, fads, shortcuts.
Yeah.
Right? Like I want it quick. Okay, I want to see results fast. What's the most harmful health fad that you see right now?
Gosh.
So many, right?
So many. There's so many. And I, there's this word that is thrown out a lot, right? Biohacking. We all are biohacking our way into life, whether it's intermittent fasting, cold plunging, saunaing, just doing all of these extreme things to our bodies, which can be healthful. But the thing is, we're bypassing all of the foundational work that we need to do first.
Okay, but I'm curious about your take on intermittent fasting.
Yeah, so it can be wonderful. But if you are a person that's already dealing with a lot of stress in your life, you have to remember intermittent fasting is a stress, okay? And if you put your body under too much stress, your body will not give you the response that you want. A lot of people do intermittent fasting, yes, for weight loss, but for also things, cellular repair, autophagy, energy.
Wow.
But the thing is, if you're completely stressed out already from life, you're not eating a healthy diet as well. So that's adding physiological stress on your body. And then you're not eating at all for
15 hours.
15, 16, OMAD, 1 meal a day, 20 hours, your body is going to be like, all right, now this person is stressed out all the time. Their body feels like it's, under threat. And then on top of that, you're taking away all the food and the energy that you're giving me. I better hold on tightly to everything, right? So a lot of people will find like, oh, I'm not losing weight. Why am I not losing weight? Because now you've put your body into a holding pattern versus a repairing and, letting go pattern. It's holding on to every bit of fat or, kind of sustenance that it has because it's scared. It's like, am I going to get a meal again? Is it going to be enough for me? And if we keep doing that, we're just deteriorating our system. That being said, intermittent fasting can be very beneficial if you have your stress under control, if you have your food under control. When you break your fast, what foods you're breaking it with. Is it the right foods? Or is it like a lot of people also use intermittent fasting to just eat whatever they want?
Yes, I see that. And actually, it's frustrating because I do see people losing a lot of weight on, they call it intermittent fasting. And I get so inspired to do it. I tried it. I ended up with gastric pains.
Yeah.
So I think anyone listening to this, they need to know that everyone's body is different, right? You need to listen to your body.
Yes, exactly.
And how about the 1,200 calorie a day myth? Like, does that actually work? Or the idea that you can eat the same thing every day.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Everything works until it doesn't work, right? So 1,200 calories a day will probably work for a short period of time, but then it's probably going to end up backfiring. The biggest thing that I find hinders a lot of us, most of us, is that we have just stopped listening to our bodies. We are following rules that some magical person has given us, whether it's something we Googled or, the celebrity that we're following on social media is doing. And we've stopped using our brains and stopped listening to our bodies, right? So similarly, with something like 1,200 calories, Your calorie needs change
Yes.
every day. How well you slept. If you're a woman, where you are in terms of your hormonal cycle,
Whether you worked out.
whether you went to the gym, whether you were chasing your kids around, whether you had a very mentally exhausting day, all of these things require different and burn a different amount of calories. So you continuously trying to give your body the same amount of calories every day is not going to work. And again, I tell like clean and 15ers and clients, right? It's all about listening to your intuition. There are going to be days where you're like, I'm not that hungry. I don't need to eat that much. And that's okay. That's your body telling you, like, I've got enough calories in me. I've got enough energy. I've got enough fuel. I don't need so much. And then there are other days where you're going to be like, wow, I'm super hungry. So some days might be a 1,200 calorie day. Some days might be a 1,000 calorie day. Some days might be a 15, 16, 17, 2,000 calorie day. And that's okay. Your body ebbs and flows, and you need to listen to it and ebb and flow with it.
So if someone's listening to this and they are frustrated, they have been on this yo-yo, diet, they lose some weight and then they gain it back, because that was me.
Yeah.
And what if they just want to cut a bad habit? So maybe they say, I don't have that kind of willpower like you, Riyana.
Yeah.
I'm not that determined.
Yeah. Again, small shifts, big wins. It all comes down to that little shift. I would say probably, right? Start with breakfast. Just change up your breakfast. Ask yourself when you are eating breakfast, am I really hungry for breakfast, or am I eating it because my kids are going to school and they're eating breakfast, so I'm just going to eat?
So it's okay to skip breakfast if you're not hungry.
If you're genuinely not hungry, breakfast is when you break your fast, your overnight fast. So whether that's at 8 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock in the morning, 12 p.m. to be honest.
Oh, it can vary every day.
It can vary. It's when your hunger kicks in. Once your hunger kicks in, eat. Make sure your breakfast is, not refined carbohydrate heavy. It's okay to have your refined carbohydrate maybe, in moderation, but that you're getting good protein and that you're getting good fats in there.
So what does a good breakfast look like? Scrambled eggs?
Scrambled eggs with avocado, one piece of toast even is totally fine. As long as your toast is not outweighing the eggs and avocado, you're good. Protein shake, you can have a protein shake as long as you build it correctly. You have healthy fats in there, you've got fiber in there, you've got protein in there. It's delicious, it's fast, it's easy.
And I only just learned how to make a proper protein shake. Now I get it.
Yeah.
And it's so delicious.
Yes. And that's a lot of people have protein. They're like, but it doesn't fill me up. It's not filling.
Yes.
Like, you're not making it right.
Yes.
You don't have
I will link to Riyana's website where she has excellent recipes for how to make a smoothie because it's so good.
Yeah.
Like I put half a banana, almond milk, the protein powder, a few berries, and then I put some antioxidant powder that I'm drinking, and then
almond butter,
the husk.
Oh yeah,
psyllium husk.
Yeah,
yes, and almond butter. Yes, it was so good.
So there you go. Right,
yes.
A full meal should have all of those components. It should have protein. It should have healthy fats. It should have fiber.
Yes.
And now you've built that in a delicious take-to-go, smoothie. So that's the thing. A lot of times when people tell me, I don't have the time, I don't have the energy, even to prepare something as easy as a chia pudding, it literally takes less than 5 minutes the night before. So you can, again, take it with you to the office or wherever it might be that you're going. It's very portable.
Yes.
It's very tasty, but it takes less than 5 minutes. So if someone tells me that they don't have 5 minutes to nourish their body so that they have, sustained energy, fueling themselves the right way, getting to a point of better health, then maybe there's something else we need to talk about.
Something else. Can we talk about fruits for a second?
Yeah.
So I was so worried about putting half a banana into my smoothie because I thought that will make me fat.
Yeah. So fruit's great. Fruit is wonderful. I'm not an advocate of fruit juice because you're removing a lot of the fiber and you're only drinking the sugar for the most part. If you think about a glass of orange juice, it takes about 8 oranges to make a glass of orange juice.
Whoa.
Would you ever eat 8 oranges?
No.
So a lot of times for juice, I'm like, eat the fruit, right? Fruits like bananas, very sweet fruits, you want to be mindful of how much you're eating for sure and how ripe they are. So the riper the fruit, the more sugar content,
Oh.
It has in it, right? So it becomes less fibrous and more sugary. So your body can convert it into sugar faster.
What about durians?
Yeah, so durians are like dessert, right? They're super sweet.
It's so delicious.
It's so delicious, but have it after a meal. Again, right? It's all about that not eating that quote unquote
sugar.
naked carb, right? Even the fruits. Have, just a little bit of something along with your fruits, a handful of nuts, dip your apple in almond butter.
It's yummy.
Put your fruit on Greek yogurt or coconut yogurt, So it's all about those pairing things in the right way so that so you putting the banana in your smoothie is fine because you've got protein, you've got fiber, you've got healthy fats in there. So it'll give you the sweetness you want.
And no sugar crash.
Yes. Without spiking and crashing your blood sugar.
And we should do a bit of show and tell now. Because you brought the food items that are stocked at Little Farms. And I'm such a huge fan of all your chili sauces. And, there's gluten-free bread. There's gluten-free wraps. There's gluten-free pizza base. Which my kids also love. And
so Everyday Foods is the name of the brand.
Yes.
It's a range of clean label pantry staples.
Yes.
So we're all about elevating the pantry.
And this is a great replacement for people who use a lot of sugar in their cooking.
Soya sauce.
Yes.
Okay, so this is coconut aminos. By the way, this has been out of stock for a month.
Wow.
I'm going to leave this with you.
Oh, wow.
So that you can use it too.
Yay!
So it's got no gluten, it's got no soy, and it's got half the sodium of traditional soya sauce.
Oh,
and it
wow.
is delicious. So anywhere you would use soya sauce, you would use...
I feel healthier already holding this.
You would use this instead. So this is just...
so good.
Yeah, so we're all about finding better replacements.
Yes.
For the foods that we love or the sauces that we use that might be laden with sugar or too much sodium or inflammatory oils. So the range actually started with chili oils and chili sauces. Because that's the one thing, right? We live in Singapore.
I see on your Instagram that you always have your eggs with your chili sauce.
Always.
And then I obviously followed.
Yeah.
Every time I'm with Riyana, I would just order whatever she's having because I feel like I get instantly healthier just by doing that.
So these are the range.
It's the mala chili with extra virgin olive oil.
Yes. So that's another big tip I would give to all of the people listening here, right? We want to avoid inflammatory oils. So oils like vegetable oils. So that's like soybean oil, canola oil, sunflower oil, safflower oil. And that's the oils that's used in a lot of these condiments, sauces.
Why is it bad though for your body? When you say inflammatory, what does that mean?
Yeah, so basically these oils are very high in omega-6 fatty acids. So omega-6s are pro-inflammatory. And now it's not to say that we don't need them in our diet. We do need them. But the thing is, because of these oils, right, our ratio of omega-6, which is pro-inflammatory, to omega-3, which are anti-inflammatory, have gone way off kilter. They should be at a ratio of 1:1, but because of our modern day diet and the amount of vegetable oils we're eating, it's gone to 10:1, for a lot of us, 100:1.
Wow.
So our inflammation, right, because of our omega-6 overconsumption, is just through the roof.
So what does inflammation mean? If we can simplify it, does that mean that it will make us more susceptible to, terminal illnesses like cancer?
Chronic illness,
oh dear.
Right? Everything. Inflammation.
That's so scary.
And the thing is, our bodies need the ability to inflame, right? Inflammation is our signal to our immune system to respond. Something is wrong, something needs fixing, something needs correcting. And so our body comes in to calm the inflammation. But many of us are in the state of chronic inflammation, where our bodies are always in this think of a fire, right?
Oh dear.
It's like a slow burning fire that's always on. And your body's trying to put it out. It's putting physiological stress, right? Your immune system is always on. So yes, it leads to a host of issues. All of our, I would say, health conditions, health concerns, issues, from whether it's small things like joint pain and, digestive issues to chronic disease. At the heart, it's inflammation.
And that's why, going back to your delicious chili sauces, you make them with extra virgin olive oil.
Correct.
Right? And it's all natural. There are no nasties.
No nasties.
Yeah.
My big tip that I give people is never trust, even my foods, never trust the front of the label. I don't care if it says organic. I don't care if it says better for you. If it says, all natural, super healthy. Always turn the package around.
Yes.
And read the ingredients.
That's my favorite one.
The garlic chili?
Yes, that's my favorite.
But yeah, so read the ingredients. And I'll read you the ingredients of the garlic chili oil. So the ingredients are extra virgin olive oil, garlic, dried chili, coconut aminos, which is, this lovely little sauce, chili padi or bird's eye chili, if you will, and pink Himalayan salt.
Oh, yum.
That's it.
Wow.
Real whole food ingredients. You understand what these ingredients are. Your body understands how to break it down, how to process it without having it have to work harder, right? Without putting a stress on your body.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's what we're all about at Every Day.
So I want to say about that actually, because a lot of people equate healthy eating with salads.
Yeah.
Bland.
Yeah.
Boring, and they just say, right?
Yeah.
Just not having it. But last night, my son and I were eating one of your recipes, the falafel balls, which were like cauliflower and a whole really like delicious ingredients. And then we dipped it in healthy mayo that I bought from iHerb. And it was so good. And both of us were, in fact, I was almost worried that it's like food with no breaks. But we both ate it. It was so good. And I think actually the work that you do is going to impact professionals and the next generation, because we've been taught the wrong things about food.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, and I'll be honest, this is the reason why I actually never went to a nutritionist when I was dealing with a lot of my health issues, because I was so petrified and so scared that this person was going to take away all the foods that I love, that taste good. And honestly, a lot of people have given even salads like a bad rap. They can be delicious. They can be really wholesome. So yeah, it's all about marrying foods and flavors that nourish our soul, right? But also nourish our bodies.
Yes.
And it is very much possible.
It's doable.
It is very doable.
With, the right ingredients and the right knowledge. And I think for me, right, my biggest breakthrough, other than stopping snacking at night, was realizing that healthy doesn't mean not tasty.
Exactly.
Maybe it doesn't look tasty, but when I put it in my mouth, like, wow, I can eat this and I can feel satisfied.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's been a major breakthrough, because I thought that eating healthy means just depriving myself.
And that's the thing. People think if I eat healthy, I am not, and that's a struggle with friends as well. When you tell friends or family or whatnot, oh, I'm doing this program or I'm changing my diet, they're like, bleh.
They look at me with disgust.
Yes, so boring, so bland, so whatever.
Yes.
And sometimes, right, I tell people, invite people over to your house when you're doing this.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Don't even tell them, feed them, and then be like, by the way, these are all the foods that are, on my plan or that are actually healthy and good for you. And the shock that people have, like, oh, really?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. And how about if I have a husband, and I do, who's, he's very fit. He works out, he even has a six-pack. But I don't feel that he has the best eating habits. What can someone like me do?
There's not much, I'll be honest. So a lot of people come to me and say, Riyana, you've helped me so much. Please talk to my mother, or please talk to my friend or my sister or my husband. If they're not ready, if they're not in the mindset or the place to make diet changes, you can't change it for them, unfortunately.
So you can't help someone until they're ready.
Yeah. And you have to respect that everyone is on a different part of their journey, their health journey. Some people are starting out, some people are a little bit more advanced, but any change that they make, anything that they do is positive and it's good, and we need to respect that. So if he's not ready right now, that's okay. That doesn't mean he'll never be ready, or he'll never want to make the changes. And you're doing the best thing. You're leading by example,
Yes.
and you're educating while you're doing it. So even though you might not think you're having an impact, I bet you some way or the other, you are, if not your husband, your children.
Yeah,
for sure.
he was. He did enjoy one of the curries that is part of the Clean in 15 thing.
Yeah.
And he was like, wow, this is healthy food.
Yeah.
So it's not bland, it's not restrictive, and you don't feel deprived. I think that's the most important thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, it's not just about losing weight.
Yeah.
Because for you, actually, your mantra is that it's about having that energy and keeping your why in check.
Yeah.
Right? Why is that important? Rather than just purely, because you'll get that, you will look better in clothes, but that often doesn't lead to the best long-term outcome.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yeah. So a big thing with weight. So one of the rules, during the Clean in 15 is don't weigh yourself for the 15 days, right? Because we tend to forget that there are many reasons why a scale will go up and down. How much water you drank, how well you digested your food, did you go to the bathroom, what you ate the night before, again, for women, where you are on your cycle, all of these things matter in terms of what the scale is going to say. So if we focus on other things that are happening to our bodies, right, we take that pressure off of this machine that's not going to probably give us the answer that we want, and we start to focus on what we call NSVs, non-scale victories. So who cares what the scale says if your pants are fitting better, right? If you're, wow, they're feeling a little looser, I'm not as bloated, my energy's better, I'm sleeping better, I'm not as moody, I'm getting way more done at work, I'm feeling a lot more productive. These are the things that we want to focus on. These are the things that really make a difference. So I'm a big advocate of don't worry about the number on the scale. Focus on the NSVs and focus on why you're doing this. Weight is a symptom. It's not the problem. So when we start focusing on that, on the foundational reasons why we're not losing weight, whether it's balancing blood sugar, making sure our macros are correct, eating at the right times, eating mindfully so we're not overeating, the weight will go.
Yes, true.
Guaranteed.
Yes. And that's why this conversation matters so much, because ultimately it's about whether I can, for me anyway, I have the energy to pick my son up. I can still pick my son up. He's 6 years old. My 9-year-old, he's heavier, and whether I have good enough sleep.
Yeah.
I want to have better skin.
Yeah.
And I want to age gracefully.
Yeah.
I want to be 80 and still be active and vibrant.
Yeah.
That's very important to me. I think I will never be able to stop asking you questions, Riyana. For the high-achieving listener who's been ignoring their food habits for years, what's one harsh truth that I think we should share with them if they change nothing about the way they eat?
It's going to lead to burnout, period. End of story. And it's going to lead to burnout quicker than you would probably like. Food is impacting every aspect of your life, whether you acknowledge it or not. So the way you respond to people, your energy, your sleep, your mood, it can all be better. There's no perfect, but it can always be better. And I know a lot of overachievers, a lot of us are we're going through the motions, but we're just surviving, right? And we want to move from that state of survival to thriving, really. And if we take a moment to give food the importance that it deserves, we'll definitely be able to make that shift, number one. And we'll also realize that all of those things that we're trying to do in our lives, right? We'll be able to do them easier, better, faster. It'll just come more naturally if you're giving your body what it really needs.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing. Wow, thank you, Riyana. Yeah. So many questions, right? I think my favorite takeaway, I don't know which one. There are too many. But I will say that, you can't help someone unless they want to be helped.
Yes.
And I think that's quite big, because sometimes it does frustrate me. I see people around me, I'm thinking they should know better. But well, everyone is on a different journey. And also to be kind to ourselves, to allow ourselves to indulge when our body wants that indulgence.
Exactly.
Right?
There's no right or wrong. There is balance, right? And it's finding that balance, finding what works for you, and implementing it in a way and in a time that feels right. So there's no rush. There's no competition. I always even tell my clients, eyes on your own plate. Okay. It doesn't matter what the person on the left or the right is eating. Just focus on you.
Yes.
And that's a big takeaway as well. It is okay to be that person because
I am that person now.
Yes, because the only person that matters is you. And the only person that's going to advocate for you is you, right?
I love that.
You are going to take care of yourself. So it is okay to be that person.
Yes, I love it. Yes, and I have been taking care of myself.
Good.
Thank you so much, Riyana, for coming on this episode. It's been so fun learning even more from you. And if you want to check out her healthy and very delicious chili sauces, there's miso chili, sambal chili, and mala chili and garlic chili. Yeah. Where can they find your chili sauces?
So they can find the chili sauces and the whole range of gluten-free breads, granolas, crackers at Little Farms, Red Mart, Ryan's, and select cold storage outlets.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah. I love them. Thank you so much, Riyana. You've been such a huge inspiration.
Thank you.
And I'm sure many of the people listening out there are feeling more pumped to potentially maybe join Clean in 15.
I would love that.
Yes, and do something for themselves and take care of themselves.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed The Real Reason. And if you did, please share it with your friends, your family, your colleagues, and join us next time on The Real Reason. See you.